been very strong in the Truck Series. It could be his first ever win. We want to take a look at a few different drivers. We're going to begin with Ray Dunlap, right?
Well, thank you, Rick. In my spotlight tonight, it's Brian Eichler. He's made 18 prior starts in this series, but it's the 18 on the side of that truck that means the most. He knows that this is great equipment, and it's a great chance for him to shine tonight. 5 top 10s a year ago in 2010, but this is his first start of the year. He's won in the K&N Pro East Series, 4 times in the West Series, but never in a top division of NASCAR. Tonight could be Brian Eichler's very best chance. Hermie?
Well, thank you, Ray. And we talked to Steve Alpin earlier on the setup show, and boy, is he excited. His first ever Camping World Truck Series start here at Texas. But when you come into a racetrack in the first time in a truck, why not come back to a place that you've won at? This is Steve Alpin taking the checkered flag here at Texas Motor Speedway in the ARCA Series race last year. He's got a lot of confidence, a very upbeat, confident Steve Alpin takes the wheel tonight. He qualified 4th. Keep an eye on Steve Alpin tonight. Phil?
Herbie, I want to take a look at 29-year-old Central California driver David Mayhew. David sits 3rd in the K&N West point standings after finishing 2nd last year. He will leave right after this race to run the West race at the Las Vegas Bull Ring tomorrow night. He has 3 wins in that series, and they all came in Iowa, and he will run this KHI truck at Iowa there later this year. He has 4 previous starts in the Truck Series, including Phoenix this year. He practiced Kevin's nationwide car in Chicago last week, and he will start 16th in this KHI MMI Services Chevy.
Phil, I think we've got to talk about Cole Witt. Here's a young man who's just 19 years old. He could become the youngest winner to ever win a Truck Series race. He became the first Rookie of the Year contender to lead the points when he left Charlotte 2 races ago as the leader. He's 2nd in points, only 12 behind our leader, Johnny Sauter. His worst finish of the season, that's 15th at Kansas. So I think our eyes have to be on Cole Witt as a potential first-time winner in the Truck Series. We're going to ride along with a few different drivers, one of those being Nelson Piquet Jr. He'll start 10th tonight. He'll carry one of our Camrys.
We're going to ride along with our Toyota on board with Ty Bodine. What can you say about Ty Bodine in Texas? 6 wins. Really, really good here. Everyone in the garage said we're going to have to beat Ty Bodine tonight. He will start 8th.
Johnny Sauter, one of the only regulars to win in the Camping World Truck Series in 2011. He starts 5th and carries one of our Cameras.
We're also going to ride along with Austin Dillon. He will ride our Finai-sponsored onboard camera. He will start from the 3rd spot, a 2-time winner in the series.
Austin Dillon has a great shot of going to victory lane tonight. What is the recipe for success? We want to take a look at our Walmart recipe for success, and we start with Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. You know, anytime you come to the track, you've got to have good equipment, but a lot of times we'll see when there are substitute drivers in the field, they bring maybe not the very best truck in the field. Well, tonight, that's not the case for young Brian Eichler. He's got chassis number 4, the very best truck in KBM stable. This truck has gone to victory lane in 6 of the 8 races that it's run. 5 times for Kyle Busch and 1 for Casey Kane. You can't blame it on the equipment tonight. I look for that 18 to be out front a lot. Hermie?
Well, Ray, when you look at a driver like Todd Bodine, a defending champion that has won 6 times here at the Texas Motor Speedway, as Phil said, you got to expect your run up front. But it has not been that way so far this year for Todd Bodine. What has he done for me lately? Only 2 top 10s this year. But a good sign for this team at Kansas last week. They debuted a brand new truck. He came home 3rd, and they have high hopes they'll get this season turned around and get back to the Todd Bodine of old here at Texas Motor Speedway. Rick?
Thanks, Army. That's our Walmart recipe for success. Who will get the right ingredients and make it to victory lane? Stay with us. Green flags next. Welcome back to the Winstar World Casino 400K here on Speed Your Motorsports Authority. Less than a lap to go before the green flag will fly. 167 laps, 400 kilometers, just over 250 miles. It's been a while for a few drivers since their last win. How about David Starr, 129 starts.
And man, would he like to win here. This is his home track right here. Always runs well here, just hasn't got it to victory lane.
Brendan Gaughan, who started off his career winning at Texas and went 4 consecutive, but then after that 4th consecutive, it's been 109 since he has found victory lane. How about Travis Quapple, former champion in this series? He's won here before, but it's been 25 races since he's visited victory lane.
Yeah, Travis Kvapil had a great year when he ran for Roush not too long ago, but they really have started to turn that season around, too. They had his first top 10 the last time out, so look for him to be more competitive than he was early on.
And Matt Crafton, teammate to Johnny Sauter, who currently is leading the points, looking for another win. He got that first win at Charlotte Motor Speedway. That was a 1.5 mile racetrack. Let's see if a 1.5 mile racetrack works for him tonight.
And remember, we have 10 1.5 mile races throughout our schedule, and this is the third of 4 in a row.
Pace truck driven by Randy Kaiser pacing them through 3 and 4. Then it will go into the hands of James Busher. He was so close so many times in qualifying at different racetracks and finally gets his first career pole here at Texas Motor Speedway. And the young Joey Coulter on his outside. So youth leading the field into the quad oval here at Texas Motor Speedway. The fans are on their feet. Green flag goes in the air. We're underway.
Big jump by James Busher. Austin Dillon will slide in front of his teammate in the second spot.
The line forming on the bottom of the racetrack, where we'll see 2 and 3 wide racing. We talked a lot about Brendan Gaughan and running that high line. There are multiple grooves around Texas Motor Speedway.
See Johnny Sauter on the inside of Joey Coulter. That's a battle for third. Now Parker Kligerman moves up beside Joey Coulter. And a battle for fourth.
Early on, different lines being run. James Busher in front of Austin Dillon. They're 1 and 2. Then it's Johnny Sauter, Parker Kligerman, and Joey Coulter, your top 5. There's Parker Kligerman making the move on the inside.
Joey lost a little ground when he went up high to Parker Kligerman.
Again, driving that 18 is Brian Eichler tonight with Kyle Busch Motorsports.
Remember Todd Bodine telling Brendan Gaughan that with less horsepower these trucks have now, the bottom is the place to be.
We'll see who will take advantage of that wisdom. We see the 88 of Matt Crafton running down there on the white line. 2 trucks trying to pull away. James Busher holding on to the top spot, but here comes that 3 of Austin Dillon.
Talking to Austin's guys down in the garage area, they were very, very confident. They said they had a great race truck, really looking on getting that truck to victory lane here for the first time this year.
Field's already spread out as our leaders are going by the start-finish line. Back of the pack making its way out of turn number 4. Max Pappas and the Geico number 9, just in front of that 62 of Brendan Gaughan. Those 2 are teammates. 3 wide at Texas.
You got Hornaday on the inside, Todd Bodine in the middle, Steve Arpin. Now Ricky Carmichael's going to make it 4 wide.
4 wide as they're going into turn number 3.
Ron Hornaday backed off there.
He checks up, and a battle for the lead, and it's won by Austin Dillon. Dillon gets by as they come out of turn 4 and cross the stripe.
Austin Dillon showing a little bit of muscle. Johnny Sauter hanging right in there in third. Johnny was fortunate enough to do the tire test here. Was really, really happy with his truck in that tire test. Came back here thinking they were going to be really, really good. Looks like they are. This is why we have that little scrum there just a few moments ago. Watch Todd now. He's on the inside. He gets a little bit sideways. You see his splitter dragging the racetrack. And then Matt Crafton loses the front of his truck. That opens it up. Makes it 3 wide.
3 wide down the backstretch, and Ricky Carmichael jumped in there and made it 4 wide. Caution has come out on the racetrack.
We're looking at the pass for the lead as Austin Dillon took the lead from James Busher.
Austin Dillon grabbed it coming out of turn number 4. Busher runs second, but the caution has come out with Austin Dillon in front of the field. Hearing from NASCAR that some oil has been dropped on the racetrack, so they'll be checking to find out who that is coming from. We're seeing the 38 make its way onto pit road.
That's
Mike Garvey.
Mike Garvey, that may be the reason. We're also hearing the 57 of Norm Benning. Might possibly be the truck that was leaking some oil. You see him in the garage area already.
So there's Norm Benning. He'll be making the move into the garage area. So our first break takes place here at Texas Motor Speedway after we've completed 5 laps out in front of the field. It's the young Austin Dillon. Will he get to victory lane? Sunday, NASCAR's Ultimate Pre-Race Show powers into Pocono. Denny Hamlin joins us live. Plus, we'll break down the Busch-Childress fight and what might have led to the blow-up. Don't miss NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern, live on Speed, Motorsports Authority. Getting under caution because fluid is being dropped on the racetrack. The track officials and NASCAR officials have gone around, checked it out. Field getting back in line behind Austin Dillon. We'll check out him and his Funai on board. James Busher running second. This is when they went 4 wide going into turn number 3.
Yeah, bad enough we had 3 wide. Ricky Carmichael said, I'm going to make it 4 wide. Watch Ron Hornaday here. He sees what's happening. He jumps out of the gas and on the brakes to allow Todd to have some room. Here's the 8-car Nelson, or 8-truck Nelson BK Jr. watching this. I'm interested to see when he's going to back off. So he backed off a little bit early. Said, I'm not sure they're going to make it 4 wide through there.
Austin Dillon and James Busher. Again, James Busher grabbing his first pole here at Texas Motor Speedway. He led his first laps ever in the Camping World Truck Series. Austin Dillon has the field behind him now. Stay with us. More racing here from Texas Motor Speedway. Welcome back to the Winstar World Casino 400K. A battle for the lead. The green flag had just gone out. Austin Dillon, James Busher, and now Dillon trying to take the spot away from Busher, who's been working up on the high side.
That's what I love about this racetrack. That high side will work. James Busher hanging tough on the high side. A lot of scrambling going on behind this duo running side by side.
And Busher has moved out in front of that 3 of Austin Dillon. So Busher holds the lead once again. His first laps led in the Camping World Truck Series at Texas coming here today.
That's one thing Austin will put back in the memory bank. Okay, the outside looks pretty good on the restart. Johnny Sauter moving up the racetrack, running in the 3rd spot right now.
James Busher, Austin Dillon, Johnny Sauter, and Steve Arpin running in the top 4. Parker Kligerman running in the 5th spot. How about Steve Arpin? Here's a driver who is making his first ever Camping World Truck Series start and running in the 4th spot. You see some great battling on the right side of the screen.
Yeah, Ron Hornaday, that blue and white truck just went out of your screen on the right-hand side. He's passed a couple of trucks to move up into the 6th spot. Good battle for 7th. There's Parker Kligerman, Matt Kraft, and here's Todd Bodine, 6-time winner here in our Toyota onboard.
Right behind Parker Kligerman, GoPensky.com, number 29, driven by Brad Keselowski.
I think Parker's struggling a little bit right now with the handling in his truck. He's losing a couple spots.
Matt Crafton just in front of Todd Bodine, and once again a battle for the lead. Here comes Austin Dillon on the inside once again.
We're going to have to give him that one by 5 1/1000ths of a second.
Side by side, we're right along with Austin Dillon. Up top, James Busher in that 31.
Here's spotter Andy Houston telling him where James Busher is. Austin wasn't able to clear him off the corner. And James had the momentum.
Here comes the Wolfpack Reynolds 31 of Busher again on the high side. He's got the momentum as he comes out of turn number 4 and looks as though he's going to make it very close at the start-finish line. That time, Dillon led by 3 1/1000ths of a second.
James got a lot closer that time.
Closed the gap by 2 1/1000ths of a second while they're racing side by side. Here comes the 13 of Johnny Sauter.
Yeah, Johnny was able to close right in on this group, but now they're single file. See if Austin can maybe try to drive away from James Busher a little bit.
Steve Arpin holding on to the 4th spot. Hornaday's moved up into the 5th position. Brian Eichler, Matt Crafton, Todd Bodine, Parker Kligerman, Justin Marks, and Joey Coulter. They're your top 11. Cole Witt back there in 12.
I was talking to Marcus Richmond, Cole Witt's crew chief. I was talking about fuel mileage, and he said, boy, we just haven't seemed to have been able to get the good fuel mileage. He said, I believe some of these trucks can run about 5 or 6 laps more than we can. Could come back and haunt them tonight.
Ray Dunlap, what's going on with the 31 team?
Well, James Busher just came on and said, guys, I'm a little bit free in, so I don't think I want to run side by side right now till we work on this truck a little bit. They said, that's okay, just settle in there. We know we're good. You know you can do it when you need it, but don't use it up too early.
Good advice for a young driver. James Busher, just 21 years old, and he's another driver who'd love to win at this racetrack because this is his home state. He's from Plano, Texas.
Yeah, not too far from here. As a matter of fact, this is where Mr. Turner discovered him, was racing on the quarter mile here in the front stretch.
Right now, Travis Quapple losing another spot. This time it's to the aid of Nelson Piquet Jr. Nelson Piquet Jr. has moved up to the 16th spot, or 15th spot, as he's taken that away from Travis Quapple.
There's David Starr, the 81 truck, remember, has not won here, from Texas. Another one of the local drivers would so love to win at this racetrack.
3 drivers from the state of Texas in the field. The other one, Stephen McCurley from Humble, Texas, and this is his first ever Truck Series start.
Look at Brendan now, using that high line. Jason White, I think, said, I'm going to take a little bit of this high line away from you as I try to get by the 39 car, Brian Sieg.
Saw Brendan making the move up high, decided that might be working. I'm going to go up there. Now Jason White goes down low. Brendan Gaughan stays up high, tries to keep that momentum up.
He's got a little bit of momentum on that truck of Jason White. He's going to get up beside him and clear him halfway down the backstretch. 7 of Miguel Paludo on the inside of that 39. Ryan Sieg running up on the high line. Miguel Paludo having to check it up a little bit as he came out of turn number 4. We haven't talked a lot about the 18 truck, Hermie. What's going on?
Well, Rick, this is one of the reasons why the crew chiefs really have a difficult job at a place like Texas when you practice in the daytime, race at night. Brian Eichler, not a lot of experience. When the initial start happened to this race, this truck was very good. We had the caution. After we went back to green after the caution, the truck all of a sudden has turned a little bit tight, center exit. So they're just telling him right now to settle in. What you got, he's running decent lap times, but when they come in, they're going to have to work on this truck to get him a little bit freer from center out.
Thanks, Hermie.
That's a nice thing about the length of this race.
Oh, and around goes the 99 of Chase Mattioli. Mattioli spins on lap 22, and that brings out our second caution.
Chase gets it refired. All those block marks are not from him, by the way.
And you see a little bit of grass. He actually went through the grass coming off of turn 4, got sideways, slid through the grass. He was running in the 30th spot.
There's another view. He was in the inside of another truck trying to get by. That was a 93 truck of Shane Sieg. Those trucks often get a little bit loose when you're on the inside. It robs that inside truck of the air on the rear spoiler. And around he went.
So Chase Mattioli brings out caution number 2. It's Austin Dillon who's out front now. Welcome back to Texas Motor Speedway. Under this second caution, most of the field made their way on to pit road. Let's take a look at how that took place. Hermie.
Yeah, Rick, Brian Eichler brought the 18 truck down to pit road. We just talked about this truck was getting tighter as long as they ran, especially middle on the exit. It took 4 tires, Sunoco fuel, made an air pressure adjustment on the left side. Also mounting to pit road, Matt Crafton in the 88, fuel only. Ray?
Up on air pressure for Austin Dillon, who you see at the top of your screen. James Busher has pit stall number 1. Both of my trucks that we're talking about did 4 tire stops. Dillon came in as the leader, but he will go out third, and Busher actually loses a couple spots. That's because the front 2 trucks took fuel only, and those guys went with 4 tires.
Shane Sieg's going to get credited for leading a lap because he stayed on the racetrack. But again, Steve Arpin making up some big positions on pit road. Stay with us. Green flags next. Speed Inside Deals is offering an unbelievable Pocono Raceway ticket package for their June 12th NASCAR Sprint Cup race. Head over to speed.com/deals for more details on the Pocono Raceway ticket package. And check out all the additional Speed Inside deals. And welcome back. Pit stops have taken place. And Steve Arpin in that Mike's Hard Lemonade number 32 will be out in front of this field. Matt Crafton will start on his outside.
Both of those trucks took fuel only on this pit stop. Austin Dillon, James Busher in that row number 2 both have 4 tires. So it's going to be interesting to see how quickly those 4 tires will be able to do something with those front two guys.
And Phil, you talked earlier about a tire test that took place at this racetrack. Johnny Sauter, one of them. Ron Hornaday was another one. He said that when they came here, they ran about 25 laps. Goodyear liked what they saw. They brought that tire compound back for the right side tires, and it looks to be laying a lot of rubber on the racetrack.
It does, and that's a new right side. These trucks have never been on this right side tire before, so it's a little bit new to them. And it threw some of the crew chiefs a bit of a curve in the garage area because this tire is a little bit different than what they're used to here at Texas.
And again, the lead truck gets to choose inside or outside as far as their starting position. Steve Arpin chooses the inside line. Green flag back in the air.
How about that? You make your first Truck Series start and you lead in the race.
Austin Dillon looking at the inside early on as they go into turn number 1. Matt Crafton hung on the outside there. It looks like he's fighting for the third spot with Ron Hornaday. Hornaday takes it away from Crafton.
Steve Hartman's done a nice job in this race. Again, no experience in these trucks. ARCA cars are a lot different than these trucks. They have more horsepower, and obviously the ARCA cars are more like the old Sprint Cup cars.
Aerodynamics come into play, and the trucks always, we talk about how big of a hole they punch in the air. And right now, the guy leading that pack is Steve Arpin, making his first ever Camping World Truck Series start. Austin Dillon running back in the second spot, just over 0.2 of a second back from our race leader. Then it's back to Ron Hornaday running third.
Matt Crafton is fading a little bit on that fuel-only strategy. Several trucks have already got by Matt. This is the first time we've seen David Mayhew driving that 2 truck.
Riding along with Todd Bodine, and he has momentum on the high side of the racetrack. Take a look at this wad of cars.
Johanna Long gets a little bit loose.
Johanna Long, yeah, slowing up the outside line.
She's another one of the trucks that took fuel only, gained a bunch of spots on that caution flag by doing that strategy. Maybe paying for it a little bit right now.
Travis Quapple on the bottom of the racetrack, in front of 7 other trucks, working their way through 3 and 4 and into the quad oval.
See the 8 truck on the outside of the 81. That's Nelson Piquet Jr. He had a bit of a moment just a few moments ago. Heavy traffic right here. Very, very dirty air that these trucks are having to negotiate. Johnny Sauter side by side with Brian Eichler. That's a battle for the 5th spot.
Sauter down at the bottom of the racetrack. Eichler on his outside door, and a battle for the lead. Here comes Austin Dillon once again. And right behind him is Hornaday. So Dillon takes the top spot. Hornaday takes second away, and Steve Arpin drops back to third, and he might lose that spot to James Busher.
Yeah, his tires cooled off a little bit during that caution flag. You know, he didn't change tires, so they were able to cool a little bit. He held them off for a few laps. Now he's paying for it.
David Starr in the 81 moving up past Johanna Long, following Max Pappas in the number 9.
These trucks had 5 sets of tires for this entire weekend. 1 set of tires they will have used up in practice. Now, remember, Steve Arpin, Matt Crafton, they have 1 more set of tires in the pits now than just about everyone else in the field.
This was a 2-day show for the Camping World Truck Series. Yesterday, during the day, the heat of the day, they were on the racetrack twice for practice, and then about 6 o'clock last night, they qualified. So this is the first time that they've actually been on the track in this type of weather and conditions. Ray.
Well, guys, I was right with you. I assumed that the 32 must have done fuel only, but I stopped at their pits and checked. They actually did right side tires, so it was a 2-tire stop for Steve Arpin on lap 22, but you're right, Phil. Not sure if those left sides will come into play later or not, but it is definitely affecting the handling of his truck. He says his entry is nowhere near as good as it was.
You know, Matt Crafton, I watched Matt Crafton's pit stop, and he definitely didn't take any tires. And he's kind of stabilized right now in about the 9th position. So he fell back a little bit at the start, but you see him right there running in that pack behind the 22 of Joey Coulter.
8th, 9th, and 10th. Todd Bodine running in the 8th spot, or in the 7th spot now as he's moved up. Joey Coulter has 8th, Crafton 9th.
There's Parker Kligerman right now holding down the 10th spot with David Mayhew in the 2 KHI truck right behind him in 11th.
Again, Bodine running in the 7th spot, looking for his 7th win the Camping World trucks here at Texas Motor Speedway. And Austin Dillon is beginning to check out on the field. His crew chief's got a smile once in a while when he's got that good of a truck out in front of Hornaday and Buscher. Welcome back to Fort Worth, Texas. Austin Dillon has a Texas-sized lead over Ron Hornaday. 2.7 seconds, the difference between 1 and 2. James Buscher runs in the 3rd spot. Johnny Sauter is 4th. And Brian Eichler, driving for Cobblish Motorsports, is 5th.
Yeah, Brian Eichler just took over that 5th spot from Todd Bodine. There's Hornaday right now holding down the 2nd spot. Good battle. There's Buscher in 3rd. Johnny Sauter in 4th. Johnny Sauter continually for the last 2 or 3 laps has run the fastest lap on the racetrack. There's a good battle for 14th. Nelson Piquet Jr. on the inside. Justin Marks, the GoPro Chevrolet, on the outside.
Nelson Piquet Jr. trying to move up through the field. Running in that 15th spot. Started this race in the 10th position, but after pit stops, got shuffled back.
Talk about Johnny Sauter being fast. He has just moved around both Buscher and Hornaday to take over the 2nd spot.
Sauter now will set his sights on Austin Dillon. Again, Dillon had almost a 3-second lead over Hornaday, but now Sauter will try to close that gap.
We talked about Johnny being part of the tire test here. We talked to him actually at Kansas, and he was talking about how he could not wait to come here. His truck was so good. Another brand new truck for ThorSport Racing and Johnny Sauter. That's the 2nd new truck they've had in the last 3 races.
And again, Johnny Sauter is the only Truck Series regular who's been able to win this season. He won at Martinsville earlier, but has been dominated by guys like Kyle Busch. Casey Kane was able to get to victory lane. Clint Boyer has won. Michael Waltrip.
Our buddy Michael Waltrip, who's racing over at Le Mans this weekend. Won at Daytona in that huge win.
Gets underway tomorrow at 8:30. You can watch the coverage right here on Speed.
25 hours of coverage between Speed
amazing.
TV and Speed.com.
Amazing. Follow along and see how Mikey and his team do. There's a battle for the 8th spot. Steve Arpin on the outside. Those tires coming back to him now as he works by the 88. Parker Kligerman just behind him in the 29.
Yeah, good heads-up move by Matt Crafton. It looked like he was going to get blocked in behind Chase Mattioli's truck, so he backed off wisely. Cost him another spot. David Mayhew in the 2 truck able to get by, but he knows that we've got 124 laps to go. There's a lot of racing left.
Again, there'll be at least 2 more stops that will take place before the checkered flag flies. So guys trying to feel out their trucks, make the proper adjustments as it cools off, and the racetrack will start to cool off.
Talked to David Mayhew in the garage area, and he qualified 16th. He wasn't real happy with that. He said we got a little bit hot on our first qualifying lap, wasn't able to run a 2nd qualifying lap, and that really would have helped. Most of the trucks were able to run faster on their 2nd lap, but said we have a great race truck, and he said it was great that first lap qualifying, but just got a little bit too hot.
David Mayhew in that battle for the 9th spot. Steve Arpin has it in 32. Mayhew running in the KHI number 2, trying to take it away just outside of that 9th position.
Rick, you were talking about this racetrack being different than what these guys were used to. We've already had 3 drivers that have run faster than the pole speed that was set yesterday evening.
Cole Witt in the 60 on the high side, trying to go by Nelson Piquet Jr.
Cole's holding down the 12th spot. The 88 truck right in front of him.
Field spreading out. Sauter not able to close the gap on Austin Dillon. Dillon has a 3.7 second lead as we see side-by-side racing. Nelson Piquet Jr. on the inside, Cole Witt on the outside. Those 2 battling for that 11th position.
Both of them getting by Matt Crafton. It's really starting to show up. The no tire strategy for Matt Crafton is really starting to show up.
As Crafton drops back.
Ricky Carmichael now is inside of Matt Crafton, trying to take that spot from him.
Carmichael trying to make the momentum that he picked up in Kansas continue. Had a good run at Kansas. Now running at another 1.5-mile racetrack. This is the fastest that we run on, and the speeds will continue to increase as we get later in the evening.
Ooh.
Sideways is Steve Arpin. He hangs on to it.
Big time sideways for Steve Arpin. That's going to open up the bottom of the racetrack for Nelson Piquet Jr. We talk about all those guys, all these young drivers with an opportunity maybe to get their first win. That's another one we need to add to the list. Nelson Piquet Jr. had a great runner-up finish at Nashville a few races ago.
Up top, Dylan Sauter, Hornaday all have victories in the Camping World Trucks. Buescher and Eichler running 4th and 5th. They're still looking to visit victory lane for the first time.
There's Colwitt, comes in here second, points, moves to the outside of Steve Arpin to take over that 11th spot.
Colwitt trying to use the momentum of the high line as he comes out of turn number 4. Austin Dillon increasing his lead over Johnny Sauter. It's now to 4 seconds between the 3 and the 13. Austin Dillon closing in on the slower lap traffic here at Texas Motor Speedway. Looks like he might have a comfortable ride in that number 3. Stay with us. More here on Speed. And welcome back. We're under caution for the 3rd time tonight, and one involved is Brian Eichler in the 18. The other involved is the 30. Take a look.
Here's Todd Bodine. He's going to set Brian up coming off turn number 4. He's going to get his truck up beside Brian. They're going to go down the front straightaway here, side by side. Now, when they get down to turn number 1, Todd is going to get loose on the inside and have to chase his truck up the hill. Watch this. Watch and listen. When he got loose, he got into the left rear corner. Brian Eichler turned both of them around. Todd missed the inside wall. I think Brian may have made a little bit of contact with the inside wall.
And on to pit road the field comes. Herbie Sadler.
David Mayhew has been very impressive since they dropped for the green flag. He qualified 16th, and they have been making their way slowly but surely to the front. He loves his truck. It's fuel only. No tires for David Mayhew. Ray?
Not on my end. I expect tires to go on Austin Dillon's Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet. You see at the top, they go around with tires, but then call it off. They say fuel only. So he's going to get out quickly. Johnny Sauter getting out also. Sauter said he believes he's got a truck good enough to win. In pit stall number 1, it's James Buescher. They are putting fuel in that truck, and it's going to be a battle off pit road. Looks like the 3 got there first.
Our monitor showing James Buescher able to just nose the 3 of Austin Dillon off of pit road.
Well, they were racing down pit road, though. Watch this. Here's David Mayhew coming out of the pits. There's Ricky Carmichael. He comes out side by side. Now watch this. The 8 pulls out right in front of Ricky Carmichael. Now the 60 pulls out. And watch this 60 trying to race the 2 down pit road here.
They're battling, and while they're battling, the 30 team is working on that truck. Again, just a little bit of contact, but they've got to make it right before he goes back out. Speed's coverage of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is brought to you by Just for Men Mustache and Beard. Keep your edge. Brought to you in high definition by Funai. Funai, fun and innovative. Experience more at FunaiAmerica.com. And by AT&T. Racing under the lights at Texas Motor Speedway. Welcome back. We are under our 3rd caution. This one for the spin by the 18 and the 30. The Aaron's Lucky Dog goes to Craig Ghost in the 46 truck.
I know Michael would be happy that we're giving away a lap. He loves when Aaron's gives away laps, and Craig Ghost gets it.
I wonder if Mikey will get a lap back from Lamont.
It's like 8 miles.
It's a long ways around there. We wish him luck in the race tomorrow from France. Now the battle taking place right here at Texas Motor Speedway. Austin Dillon and James Buescher. Austin Dillon was able to check out on the field. Now James Buescher looks like he's going to beat him to the green flag.
Austin's going to fight back on the bottom. There's Johnny Sauter right there hanging back in 3rd.
Buescher trying to keep the momentum up on the high side. Here comes Johnny Sauter right behind the 3 of Dillon. Sauter takes 2nd away from Buescher. Now Buescher moving back to the inside, trying to take 2nd back from Johnny Sauter.
How about Colwitt there? He's on the outside following Johnny Sauter. This is the highest up Colwitt's been in this race.
Colwitt coming out of turn 4 through the quad oval, trying to take 3rd away from Buescher.
David Mayhew now right behind that side-by-side battle for the 3rd spot.
Dillon, Sauter, Witt, Buescher, Mayhew. Your top 5, Kligerman, Piquet Jr., Jason White, Hornaday, Starr, your top 10.
Jason White's making some gains here in this race. Up into the top 10 now.
3 wide, working through 3 and 4.
Ooh, Clay Rogers, that 92 white and black and blue truck got a little bit sideways up off of 4.
There's slowing, and we got a problem in front. 39 goes around. Ryan Sieg in the 39 turns in front of the field. It looks as though no contact is made.
Brian Eichler looked like he locked the front tires up trying to avoid Ryan Sieg, so he may have a flat spot situation with his front tires.
Ryan Sieg sideways on the racetrack, and everyone able to avoid him.
We were riding along with Todd Bodine in his Toyota onboard, and he had a good view of that.
Take another look.
The right side of your screen just gets a little bit loose in front of Clay Rogers. Does a nice job keeping that truck out of the outside wall. There's Justin Marks with a nice job. And there's Brian Eichler. You saw the smoke from his front tires.
He had to lock it up to avoid collision with that 39.
There's another view again, all by himself. I'm sure his truck got a little bit looser because of the 92 of Clay Rogers being right in front of that. But Brian Eichler does a nice job. Even though he may have locked those front tires up, he did a nice job avoiding him. Watch Todd now. This is what we were watching live. Todd sees that happen. He sees he's outside of him, so he said, let me get back in this throttle here and squeeze by.
And get out of the way. Brian Eichler actually running a lap down right now as we see them work on the 39 truck after he went through this slide at Texas Motor Speedway. Tuesday night, F1 World Champion Lewis Hamilton and 2-time NASCAR Cup champion Tony Stewart swap rides at Watkins Glen International Raceway. See what happens when 2 of the world's greatest drivers are put to the test. Don't miss Seat Swap Tuesday night at 8 Eastern, exclusively on Speed.
That's going to be fun as we see Brian Eichler would get the Aaron's Lucky Dog be back on the lead lap. He did come down pit road and put tires on. Herbie, how about David Mayhew?
Yeah, Phil, David Mayhew came down pit road on the last caution. Only. Now crew chief Bruce Cook is doing a sales job with him, telling him, hold on older tires. I know it's going to pay off in the end. We've got an extra set of tires, Ray.
Down on my end, I've been watching Cole Witt on the first run. He was extremely tight, so tight that he couldn't even get through adjustment on it. Then he was a bit loose. But just like you were talking about, Hermie, on the last pit stop, they did not get tires, so we're in that same circumstance. Phil, don't you think it's a little bit strange when I saw guys like Hornaday and a few others get their second set of tires already early on? That was lap 53. They're going to have to go a long way.
Yeah, 106 laps to go, Ray. That is a lot of laps to run with one more set of tires in the pits.
Green flag on the inside. Johnny Sauter on the outside. Those two racing door to door through 1 and 2.
How about Hornaday? He thought about making it 3 wide for a moment. Couldn't gain any on Busher, though. They are 3 wide in the back. Matt Crafton makes it 3. Johnny Sauter has a bit of an edge right now. Up off the corner, needs the lead.
They are fanning out behind him. Johnny Sauter leading the field at Texas. Then it's Austin Dillon. Cole Whitten at 60, trying to hold on to his position is James Bush.
On the outside. Now he's back on the bottom of the racetrack.
Hornaday tucks him back in behind the 31 of James Busher. As the top 6 line up. And then behind them it goes 2 by 2. Right now Busher and Hornaday battling for position. That's for the 4th spot.
Johnny Sauter's proving to be prophetic. He thought he was going to be really, really good here. Had a great shot to win this race. Ooh, Cole Witt slides up the racetrack a little bit, right in front of Busher.
Cole Witt slides in front of Busher. That opens the door for the 33 of Hornaday. Now side-by-side racing behind them. A little bit slower on the racetrack. The 77 of Justin Lofton has to check up behind Jason White.
Looked like there might have been a little bit of contact between Jason White and the 23, Justin Lofton and the 77. Let's see if we can take a look back and see the contact. You see there's Jason White on the inside. Todd goes by on the outside. Justin's going to try to go by on the inside. They make just a little bit of contact. You see Justin's as low as he can go, but that sees the momentum up for Jason White in the 23 truck.
Jason White got a little sideways. Justin Lofton checked up. Here comes Craig Ghost in the 46 behind Jay White.
Craig Ghost just got the lucky dog a couple cautions ago. Now he's back in contention with some good trucks.
Max Pappas go by, the Geico number 9. He's out in the 30.